All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, checking out this video. Hope that it's helpful for you. Today, we're going to be talking about the three most dangerous electrical areas of your home. Now, this is in my opinion. I am a licensed home inspector, and I'm not a licensed electrical contractor. Now, with electrical, we got to get this out of the way first off. It can be very dangerous. Every area can be dangerous if you do not know what you are doing. Always consult with a licensed electrical contractor before you attempt to do any work on your own home. So with that said, in my opinion, these are the three most dangerous areas that I have encountered in a home that have to do with your electrical system. Now, in most modern builds, electrical systems are inspected many times over by the building codes departments of your municipality, wherever you're building. They'll send out a codes inspector to check the various stages of the electrical install. And for the most part, they do a wonderful job of making sure that your system is safe and is installed correctly. However, there are some times when they just miss things or work was done after they were there, like renovations or flips, where someone just came in and just jerry-rig the whole thing, and it can be a complete disaster and very dangerous. In older homes, you can also see issues with older panels, older outlets, older wiring. All those can become issues. And in many instances, there's been panels that have been recalled or components in panels that have been recalled. And we can cover those in other videos. But overall, this is most of your, in my opinion, again, the three areas. And we're going to start with number three first, and we're going to work our way up. And I'm going to say the third thing in my book that is the most dangerous would be what I would call your branch circuits. Okay, now these are the lines that come out of your main service panel or distribution panel. We'll talk about those in a second. So this is an example of an electrical panel. This one looks great. And when the cover's off this panel, you can see that the breakers, there's wires going into each breaker. Each of those wires represent a circuit that's serving an appliance or a lighting circuit or outlets somewhere in the home. And you hopefully hope they're clearly labeled. But with that said, this is where you can run into some dangerous stuff. For instance, here's a brand new home. This is in a crawl space. Take a look at this photo. You'll see a wire dangling. That's a circuit that it's not connected to anything. It's improperly terminated. It's not connecting to anything. So if I were to get close and get near the conductors, I could receive a shock, perhaps even could get killed. Depends on if the breaker flips or not. So with that said, this is an instance of an area that could be dangerous if you wandered across it and you're crawling and then your head or your ear touches it and boom, that might be all it takes. So these type of things can be dangerous. Here's another photo of a branch circuit in an attic. Now this home was about 40 years old. A squirrel had gotten into the attic, and look how it chewed through the sheathing on the conductors. Amazing how it's done that. It's actually exposed those conductors, which it's not good because, again, that's a fire risk. Now that you're up in an attic, if anything happens to cross those and heats up like a filament in a light bulb, it starts a fire in the attic, lights out, it's over with. So these are instances where branch circuits can indeed be very dangerous, especially if animals are involved and got to chewing on the wires. So number three would be branch circuits. All right, number two on the list would be, in my opinion, the most dangerous areas would be your service panels. Okay, now we have one panel in a home, generally at least one panel, and that will be called a main service panel. There might be another panel in a home, depending on how big it is or the setup of that house, and that would be called a distribution panel. So remember, all the power goes to the main service panel first. Think of that as stop number one. And then it goes to the distribution panel second, or maybe, the stop number two, or perhaps there's another panel, stop number three, and so forth down the line. This is where you can get into problems, especially if you remove the cover. And I never would advise any homeowner to remove the cover of an electrical panel. Here's an electrical panel with the cover on. You definitely don't want to remove that cover, especially if you just think that you're going to try to fix a breaker or replace one. Always consult with a licensed electrical contractor prior to removing the panel. And here's why. A lot of people remove this panel and they don't realize that there is live current flowing through this panel. I've seen a lot of people that I'm demonstrating the inside of a panel to, and they'll actually kind of reach in like, oh, what is that? And their fingers are like a few inches from the bus bars in that panel or the wiring. And it's just like, no, 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 get back. You don't understand. Anything in this panel can be hot, especially at the top of the panel where the service lines come in. That is unprotected, and that is live hot wires, and it will get you. Now, most, again, modern builds are coming, they're having protectors installed on those service lines on the inside of the panel to where they're not able to be touched. So in my opinion, the service panels can be very dangerous, especially in older homes when labeling is sparse or breakers are not even labeled at all. Maybe there's even the old glass screw-in. Those are called Edison fuses, or the fuse poles that you may see in certain panels. Once those panels get to be between 40 and 60 years old, it is recommended that you consider updating those panels just because of modern demands, modern appliances, and so forth. So your service panels are definitely a spot that you need to be careful of. Never take off the panel cover and decide to work inside that panel. Always consult with a licensed electrical contractor before you remove the covers. Lots of folks have paid the price for messing with their panels, not knowing what they're doing. All right, now that leads us to the next and final one. In my opinion, the number one most dangerous electrical area of your home would be your service drop. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. We're going to flip the board, and we're going to give you this little diagram of, basically it's a kind of a 101 on how electric comes into your home. So this is the electric pole. That's a transformer. There's wires coming out of the top of that transformer. Generally, you'll have 3 wires coming into your home. You'll have 2 wires that are 120 volts carrying that voltage, 2 wires. You'll have 1 wire that's kind of bare and looks like a cable. That's going to be a neutral wire coming in to what we would call the service mast. So this is the service drop. It comes in right here, and this is the number one area of safety in my concern. It would be the connectors at this point. Most of the time you will see covers, plastic covers like snap covers installed on these connectors. Think of them as knuckles. The lines come in, they go into an aluminum clamp, and they're clamped to the service lines that go into your panel, or sorry, that go down to the meter and then into the panel. Okay, so when this clamp, or perhaps it's tape or some kind of mastic, is gone, it exposes those bare knuckles. And here's what that looks like right here. You can see that there is no protection on that wire. And if someone comes in, puts a ladder up and decides to clean gutters, and maybe they have a long stem hose, or perhaps they're just even high enough to get their head near that area, they can get killed instantly. I have heard it happen where people were near this service mast. These were not protected. They hit it with an aluminum ladder and lights out. It was over. This is 100% unprotected coming in. Geez, can't even spell unprotected. Yeah, there you go. It's 100% unprotected coming into your home. You really don't have protection until it gets to your service panel in the form of breakers that are designed to trip in the event they encounter a service fault or something of that nature. So remember, these lines are unprotected. I mean, you're getting the full force of everything that the transformer is sending to the house. So if these are bare, you can actually see that connectors. You definitely want to call a licensed electrical contractor. A lot of communities, rule of thumb is if it's in the meter out, it's the electrical company or your utility provider that takes care of this out. From here in, it's going to be the homeowner. Nonetheless, you need to call one of two people, either your electrical utility or a licensed electrical contractor. And of course, either one, you can't go wrong. A contractor could come out and take a look and say, hey, we're going to refer you to the utility. Hopefully, they'll send someone out immediately to get that fixed. So that's your number one. The number one area that I would call the most dangerous area, electrical area in your home, is that service drop connection point just under that masthead. You'll see that whenever you walk outside. If you have a home that has this kind of setup, you'll see that. Now, a lot of newer utilities are coming in underground. They go in underground and then come up this way. Again, much safer in terms of avoiding anything like this. So if you have an underground service, a lot of modern homes have that. We'll say modern as in 1990s up. You'll see maybe underground utilities, which is fantastic. But in the older homes, if you have the above ground service lines, be careful. Never get up around those, even in the vicinity. You can even suffer what's called an arc flash. Here's a little shot of what an arc flash would look like, and it's basically when electric jumps from wherever it is to you and uses you as the ground instead of its ground wire. It sees you and it's trying to get to the ground. Remember, really, number one thing electric wants to do, think of electric as a living thing. It's generated, it's live, it's moving. All that it wants to do is find the ground. For instance, lightning from the clouds. Where does it go? It just wants to hit the ground. And that if you get between it and its path to the ground, it will use you as the pathway to the ground. And that's what you don't want. You don't want to break that connection from the electric to the ground. Okay, so hope this video helps. Thanks for watching. And stay safe out there, and don't attempt to fix anything regarding these areas without consulting with a licensed electrical contractor first. All right, stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching.